AFCI, Arc Fault Circuit Interrupter. History of AFCIs. The Arc Fault Circuit Interrupter, or AFCI, was developed in response to a need for equipment to sense when an arc fault was occurring. AFCIs were first mentioned in the 1999 revision of the NEC. It required that bedroom receptacles were to be protected by AFCI breakers. Studies of building fires have attributed many electrical faults to an arcing type which ignites flammable materials within the building structure. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission asked the electrical industry to look at a technical solution to the issue of preventing fires by tripping circuits that were exhibiting power fluctuations due to arc faults. AFCIs are able to detect faults as low as 5 amps peak for serious arcs and 75 amps peak for parallel arc. They can also detect arcing caused by faults such as dead shorts due to nails and screws through conductors, and arcing due to loose connections anywhere in the circuit. AFCI and GFCI protection. Please refer to Section E3902 of the 2021 IRC that relates to GFCIs and AFCIs. An arc fault circuit interrupter, AFCI, protects people from arc faults by recognizing characteristics unique to arcing and by de-energizing the circuit when an arc fault is detected. The type of arc fault circuit interrupter, or AFCI, device currently required by the NRC and NEC is the combination type. This circuit breaker type of AFCI that mounts in the panel board at the beginning of the branch circuit or feeder provides protection for the entire branch circuit or feeder. The AFCI device consists of a standard circuit breaker with an additional electronic circuitry that is capable of recognizing the unique current fluctuations that result from an arcing condition. Combination type AFCI breakers will be labeled. They may have different color test buttons from one panel board to the other. A combination type AFCI should be installed to provide protection at all branch circuits that supply 120 volt single phase 15 and 20 ampere outlets installed in kitchens, family rooms, dining rooms, living rooms, parlors, libraries, dens, bedrooms, sunrooms, recreation rooms, closets, hallways, laundry areas, and similar rooms or areas. Where branch circuit wiring is modified, replaced, or extended, the branch circuit should be protected. Please refer to Section E3902 of the 2021 IRC that relates to GFCIs and AFCIs. GFCIs and AFCIs must be installed in readily accessible locations because they have test buttons that should be pushed periodically. Manufacturers recommend that homeowners and inspectors test or cycle the breakers and receptacles periodically to help ensure that the electrical components are working properly. Similar rooms or areas must be protected by any of the following: a combination type AFCI installed for the entire branch circuit. The 2005 NEC required combination type AFCIs, but before January 1st, 2008, branch feeder type AFCIs were used. A branch feeder type AFCI breaker installed at the panel in combination with an AFCI receptacle at the first outlet box in the circuit. A listed supplemental arc protection circuit breaker, which are no longer manufactured, installed at the panel in combination with an AFCI receptacle installed at the first outlet where all of the following conditions are met. The wiring is continuous between the breaker and AFCI outlet. The maximum length of the wiring is not greater than 50 feet for 14 gauge wire and 17 feet for 12 gauge wire, and the first outlet box is marked as being the first outlet. A listed AFCI receptacle installed at the first outlet on the circuit in combination with a listed overcurrent protection device where all of the following conditions are met. The wiring is continuous between the device and the receptacle. The maximum length of the wiring is not greater than 50 feet for 14 gauge wire and 70 feet for 12 gauge wire. The first outlet is marked as being the first outlet, and the combination of the overcurrent protection device and AFCI receptacle are identified as meeting the requirements for a combination type AFCI. An AFCI receptacle and steel wiring method an AFCI receptacle, and concrete encasement. AFCI Recalls. Like many new technologies, the introduction of AFCIs was not trouble-free. In particular, Square D was forced to recall 700,000 breakers due to faults. These breakers were manufactured with a blue test button. As there are still many of these out there that have not been replaced, the home inspectors should pay special attention to blue button Square D breakers and advise the client that they may be subject to recall. Testing AFCIs. When testing AFCIs, as when testing GFCIs, it is recommended by the manufacturers to use the test function on the breaker. However, this only tests the internal circuit board rather than emulates any actual arc fault. Many inspectors are now purchasing specialist testers that simulate an arc fault within the tester. Home inspectors purchase both AFCI and GFCI branch circuit testers. They are as common and easy to use for a home inspector as a flashlight.